So I'm hoping a few of you will join me this evening for this class. I've taken some yin yoga training. I like to mix it up with a little bit of hatha. So I'm hoping that you'll find this really relaxing. So when it's time to go to bed, you're going to feel a little bit more peace, a little bit more ease. So let's come to seated. Hey Corey, nice to see you. Corey's joining us this evening. So it's already time to get started. I'm just gonna sit here. I've got a bolster I'm sitting on. I've got a couple of blankets. And yin postures we're going to do mostly seated. So any of the gentle stuff that I'm doing, I'm trying to bring in a little bit more ease for us this evening. Looks like we've got Holly on here. Who else is that? Brienne, Cynthia. Hey, you girls. How's it going? So great you're joining me. So super, super gentle. I know you guys know that's what I love to teach. I find that our lives are hectic and busy enough, so it's really nice to just be able to come here and settle in, find some ease. So grab a couple of pillows, your yoga mat, a couple of blankets. If you have a bolster, bring a bolster. I'm going to get started here. I've got my little meditation pillow underneath me. All of my props, you guys, comes from Half Moon. So if you see anything you want, let me know. I can always get it in for you. So let's take a moment to sit. Let's close our eyes. Notice your breath. And in this yin practice this evening, we just stay with whatever breath feels comfortable with you, maybe lengthening the inhales and the exhales. And I like to start with a short meditation that we've been practicing using the word heart. So thinking of the heart, starting with the first letter, how are you feeling? Your eyes are closed. You're sitting nice and tall, rooting down through the sits bones, lengthening the spine, feeling the crown of the head reaching towards the sky. Relax the shoulders. How are you feeling? And let's bring our right hand to belly, left hand to your heart center. So we're having our heart on the Anahata chakra, the solar plexus chakra. And then tapping into the letter E. How's your energy? Notice any emotions. Knowing that every emotion is okay right now. Knowing that you're exactly where you need to be right now, sitting on your yoga mat, hopefully in a room where you can be undisturbed. And then coming to the letter A, just bringing awareness to the feelings in your body. So where do you feel any stiffness, any achiness? And also finding where you feel some ease. And now coming to the letter R. This is the word for rest and relax. So taking this moment to Relax the breath, relax the body. So starting with the forehead, the jaw, the throat, the belly softens. Allow your time to rest and relax. And then bringing that right hand over top of left, maybe dropping the chin towards your heart slightly. And coming to your thoughts. And bring these thoughts into what you're thankful for. There's so many things going on that cause us to feel uncertain. But what can we be thankful for in this moment? So being thankful for being here on your yoga mat. Thankful for technology where we can get together on a live feed and do yoga together. So just noticing what you're thankful, bringing in gratitude. And that is the practice. Many times when things are going along smoothly, it's easy to be grateful. But how do we find this gratitude when things are challenging? Knowing that as a human in this world, sometimes things suck. Half the time it does, but knowing how the other half is amazing. But knowing that we have ups and downs. Good. Take this moment to bring in your sankalpa, so your intention. What is your intention for this practice? Can it be, I will take this time to honor this practice? I am practicing self-care. I am nourishing my body, my mind, my spirit. It's bringing in that intention and silently saying that to yourself 3 times. And then bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra. Drop your head down towards your heart. Good. You can open your eyes. We're going to start our yin practice. So yin is really great of working into the joints and the muscles. And then we'll do a few transition postures in between. So to get started, let's warm up the spine. So we're going to open up our heart. So you can open up, maybe even bring the arms nice and wide. As you inhale, and as you exhale, you'll bring the hands to the knees and then round the chin towards the heart. Inhaling, opening. You can even open the arms. Exhale, rounding. You can even leave the hands on the knees if you want. Inhale, opening through the heart. Chin and eyes come up towards the sky. Exhale, chin towards heart, rounding shoulders forward. Belly comes in to kiss the spine. Inhale, opening. And exhale, rounding. Good. A few more times. Nice seated cat-cows. Good. Last one. And exhale, come back to seated. Good. I'm just going to move so I'm facing on my mat like you would be. So facing forward. And we're going to come into box pose. So you're going to take this left foot and bring it so it's just against the mat here. So you want it to be lengthening out on the mat. Keep this foot nice and active. Because this is sitting up a little higher, because I'm sitting on this bolster, I'm going to take another bolster and place it maybe underneath this knee if I need to. We're going to take this right foot, bring it up on top of the knee. So maybe this is a bit too high. There we go. So this is box pose. We're working into that hip. So from here you can sit up nice and tall. So this foot is resting on top of the left thigh bone. The other foot, I'm relaxing the foot now. I'm going to relax this foot. I want to make sure this knee is nice and protected. So maybe even taking the bolster under here to give it a little bit of help. My hips aren't very open tonight. So allowing us to sit here, and as this releases, maybe I can remove the bolster. You can sit up nice and tall. Sometimes you can come into a bit of a forward fold. So I want to make sure we're not being really tough on the diaphragm here. So we don't want to crush down into the diaphragm. We want to sit up nice and tall. We'll hinge forward from the hips. So nice and gentle, no pain, no pain. Breathing deeply here if you need to, or just being aware of lengthening the inhales and exhales. I'm going to stay here for one more minute. Coming up, sitting straight if you wish. So the whole point is to get into that hip. And you're going to feel it along the right top of the thigh here, top where the femur bone is. And see if you can relax the knee down. Good. I'm going to take this foot off, stretch it out in front of me, just give it a little shake. Bring the other one out in front. We're going to go to the other side now. So I'm going to take this foot, we're going to bring it over so it's nice and comfortable here. You're going to notice this foot is staying very active. Again, placing something in the knee. So I love these little soft Pilates balls. That is actually a really nice height for me. And then I'm going to take this left foot, place it on top. So I want to keep this ankle nice and active. I don't want to twist the foot up. I want to keep it nice and active. And because this side's a little bit more tighter, believe it or not, than the other side, I'm going to place the bolster here. So this left hip of mine's being a little bit cranky. So I'm going to inhale and exhale, nice relaxed breath. So with the yin practice, we hold these postures anywhere from 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Trying to relax into the pose. So we hold the pose for a length of time. We come to the edge, so the edge is feeling the pose, like feeling the intensity, maybe a pinching or a stretching through this hip, but not going to a point where it's really, really painful. And stay here for one more minute. See if you can close your eyes and breathe nice long inhales, slow relaxed exhales. I feel this right knee dropping down a little bit more as I breathe. Good, let's take 5 more breaths here. So yin is it can be very restful, but it can also be very intense. So it's not a restorative practice. because you are working deep into the muscles in the joints. Good. Slowly releasing that foot. I'm going to lift it off of my leg. And let's take a little bit of time to transition here. I'm going to lean into my hands and do a few windshield wipers. So just coming back and forth. Good. And I'm going to remove this bolster I'm sitting on because I'm finding it a little bit too high. And I'm going to take my blanket to sit on my blanket. So if you have a blanket, taking your blanket to just lift the hips up a little bit higher. We're going to come into half butterfly. So in yin, we are going to take, let's start with the right. Take the right foot into the inner thigh. Again, if you need something underneath that knee, you can place something under it. I have one of these nice cork rollers. Sometimes that works good. And then yin, we bring that leg a little bit wider. So the left foot comes off of the mat. Good. And we're going to take a bolster or a pillow with us. I'm going to turn this down a bit. Good. So just taking your bolster, and again, not crushing into the diaphragm. So you don't want to sink down. We want to hinge forward. So you're hinging from the hips forward to come into that forward fold. We keep this left foot active. Placing, you can take your head either onto a bolster to stretch into that back hamstring, or you can simply just bring your fingertips down in front of you, even your palms. But again, not rounding in, so we're keeping that belly nice and soft, but the diaphragm is lifted. Now relax the feet. If you're here, you can come forward. So this is quite a deep pose, especially into those hamstrings. So yin is really good for anyone in sports. Most people who are in sports, they end up having injuries to their knees and their joints. Breathe here, nice, long inhales and exhales. See if you can come even more down with each breath, down towards the bolster or the floor. Five more breaths. Deep inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and slowly come up. Just come to seated here. Let yourself sit and just ground down through the sits bones. Relax that leg. Good, and we're going to come over to the other side. So outstretching that right foot, left foot comes into the inner thigh. So bringing that right leg out a little bit. So I'll move the bolster. I'm keeping this foot active. So when I'm talking about not crushing the diaphragm, again, it's like not rounding forward. We want to have a nice length in here. So imagine from here, from your bottom rib down to the hip, you've got a little bit of space. So we're tilting forward. So imagine if someone was to come and pull your hands forward and then gently bring them down to the ground. Again, letting the forehead come down, and if you wish to come forward into those elbows, you can do that. Or again, using a pillow or your bolster, coming down onto the bolster. So coming to that edge. I'm going to stay here for 5 more breaths. Nice long inhales, long relaxed exhales. Slowly begin to rise up. So we take our time through every movement, slowly coming up. Sitting up, place your hands even on your hip creases. Sit up nice and tall. Ground back down to the mat. Feel that sensation. Feel the lengthening. Maybe you're feeling a nice lengthening through the lower back here. Good. We're going to remove the bolster. We're going to come over onto hands and knees. So this is really what we're going to move in now is really great for anybody having lower back pain. If you don't have carpet like I have in my yard and yoga room, place the blanket underneath your knees. You're going to come onto your hands and knees, and now notice that you can bring your hands a little bit wider. So instead of keeping hands in front, I like to bring them a little bit wider, and then I'm going to turn this elbow, the inner elbows or the eyes of the elbows, in towards each other, little micro bend, and I'm going to press into the ground, pull that belly button up, and my knees are underneath my hips. Good. We're going to come into some cat-cows here. So this is a great way to warm up the spine, and I'm going to tug the toes towards me. So not tucking them, but placing top of the foot onto the ground and then tugging them towards me. You're going to feel that belly engage. Inhaling, the gaze comes up towards the ceiling. As I exhale, I round, press into the hands. I'm keeping those feet, the toes tugging. And then exhaling, arching the back. Exhale and round. Inhale, arching. Exhale, rounding. Good, a few more here. And exhale. So you can hear my breath. I'm really working into those lungs. And this really helps calm my nervous system. I'm going to release the feet, so I'm letting them rest now. And I'm just going to walk a bit forward because I want to extend my leg. We're going to come into sunbird. So keeping this nice strong foundation here. Outstretch the right fingertips. Keep them on the floor for now and outstretch the left foot. And let's rock into the foot. So we're doing movement through the yin practice. So a little bit of yang with the yin. And now lift the foot and the arm up. Palm faces the center. So this, we don't want to go higher because that hurts the low back, but this is great for lower back pain. Bring that hand back down, knee back down. Outstretch left fingertips, right toes come out. Rock into the toes. So feel that nice stretch to the calf muscle. Good, and we're going to again lifting that right foot up, no higher than the hip, and then the left arm comes up. Good, take a few breaths here. Keep that belly coming in, so nice engagement through the belly. And bring the hand back down. Let's do it one more time each side. So just lifting and then coming to the other side. Good. Let's widen the knees. We're going to come into child's pose. So knees are nice and wide. Even if you just come up to seated here, just take a moment to settle back into grounding down, this nice grounding practice. Nice option here is to bring your bolster or a blanket or a pillow and just coming down onto the bolster and bringing right ear down to the bolster. Just let yourself settle here. If you're not bringing yourself down to a bolster, just bringing the forehead down. I want your elbows to be nice and wide here. Bring the palms down to the ground so your arms can relax. Then forehead comes down to the mat. Feel the breath into the back side of the body. You can even wiggle the hips here, just settling the body back down. Nice deep inhales. Letting yourself breathe and relax, noticing your thoughts. So if you're on the bolster, taking the opposite ear. So when I was on the bolster before, I had my right ear down. So I would be turning the left ear over. So balancing out. Let's slowly make our way up. Come to easy pose. So if this is hard on your knees, just bring something to sit on underneath your sit bones. So dragon pose, we first come into our tabletop. We're going to bring that right knee forward, and you can bring the palms down on top of the right femur bone, not on the knee, so right on top of the thigh here. We're going to walk the foot over so it's on the edge of the mat, and then let the toes pop off of the mat. From here, fingertips can come down to the mat, so deep stretch into the hip here. So if you can see here, I'm coming down in towards this hip, and fingertips are on the ground. So this is quite an intense hip opener, but you can also bring your palms down. If you have a block, you can place your hands on your block. And if your back knee gets a little bit cranky, you can place a blanket underneath that back knee. Good. I'm going to bring myself back up. Come back into that low lunge. Let's hang out here for a minute, feeling that nice stretch through that left hip flexor. Let's come back to our hands and knees. Let's do a few hip circles here. So just moving the body. Good. We're going to bring this time the left foot forward. Coming up, hands on top of the femur bone. If you notice, this foot is turned in, right? So it automatically goes that way. I'm going to lengthen it out so the toes are behind the heel. So this foot doesn't cooperate as well as my other foot. My hands are still on top of that thigh. I'm going to feel that nice stretch here. So you can always stay here. You don't have to go any deeper. I'm going to walk that foot out. So again, walking the heel out so the toes are popping off the edge of the mat. And then coming down to fingertips or to hands. Sometimes when I'm feeling super flexible, I'll bring my elbows down, but that's not happening for me today. I've been sitting too much crocheting. And because this toe keeps turning in, I'm going to tuck the back foot. because I want it to stay nice and strong. I don't want it turning in because it's hard on my knee. So I'm tucking that back foot. I can't put a lot of weight on that foot because I broke this toe this winter. So I'm going to be super gentle. Turning 50 has been hard on me, you guys. Had lots of aches and pains. Good. I'm going to take 5 breaths here in this deepest part of a dragon pose. Good. I'm going to slowly come up to hands and knees. Good. I'm going to do a few movements here. So just rocking back and forth. Good. And let's come back to easy pose. Let's check back in. So taking the hands, press them down into the femur bones. Roll the shoulders back. So another pose I like to do, I like to use this roller, but you can use a belt, even your own belt, to stretch through the shoulders. We take the belt behind us, my right hand is up, and clasping with my left hand. So nice shoulder stretch. So this is just a regular belt. So you don't need a yoga belt. And then I'm pressing my head into the back of my arm. So I do a lot of crocheting, which is really hurting my upper back. So this is a nice stretch for us crocheters. Good, I'm going to release that. Do a few arm hugs here. Alternating arms. So one arm comes up and then it comes over top. Good, changing to the other side. So this time I'm going to take this left hand up, my belt, and I'm going to clasp the right hand down below if I can grab it. There we go. So opposite side here. This side's feeling really tight. And then my head is pressing into the arm. So nice stretch here for the shoulders. Good, release that down. I'm gonna take my little belt, throw it back in there with all my other goodies. And now we're gonna come down onto our backs. So this is kind of a new move, but I really do like it. So coming down onto your elbows, then down onto your backs, and your feet are on the ground and bringing your hands down to the ground. If you are okay through the shoulders, we're going to clasp the hands behind the shoulders. So as if you're laying on the beach, you're laying on the top of a houseboat and pressing those elbows into the ground. So from here, we're going to arch the back. So arching the back, so you could actually stick your hand underneath there if you needed to. So you're tilting the pelvis forward and pressing into the hands. Good. As we exhale, we're going to round and bring the heart, the chin towards the heart. Exhale, release back. So let's take a few inhales and exhales here. Arch the back, tilting the pelvis forward. Inhale and exhale, lift up, coming into that core, press into the feet, chin towards heart. See if you can bring the elbows towards each other. Exhale, release back down. Yeah, let's do a few more. We're going to inhale, arch the back. The pelvis is tilting forward, pressing into the elbows. Exhale, rounding chin towards the heart. Press into the feet. Come all the way back down. Good. Let's stretch out here in celestial pose or star pose for a moment. So you can bring your arms wide, legs wide if you wish. Just allow the body to settle here. Good. We're going to come into bridge pose now. So when we do bridge pose here, I want us to really press into the feet. So we're going to lift up, place those hands down on either side of the hips. Inhale, hips come high. Really press into the heels so you can feel like you're pushing yourself away. But now see if you can pull the heels towards you. So you notice I push away and now I'm pulling the heels towards me. So this is strengthening the hamstrings. Good. Exhale, release back down. Move those feet out a little bit further. Good. Again, we're going to lift up into that bridge. Palms are down on the ground. Inhale, lift up. Press into the feet. And now draw the heels towards you. So feeling that strength into the legs. Lift a little higher. Good. Release all the way back down. This time, heels are on the floor. So just the heels, toes are up. Good. We're going to lift into that bridge. You're pressing into the heels. So you're going to feel this in the tops of the legs. Press into the heels. Now see if you can draw the heels towards you. Good. Release back down. Let's bring those knees into the chest. Knees come wide. Do a few hip circles here. Good. Placing right heel on top of left knee. Coming into sleeping pigeon. So you're going to lift that left foot up. Arms come between and clasping behind the thigh. This foot's going to stay pretty active here. And see if you can press into the hands, like press the thigh into the hands. So you're going to feel a nice stretch here. Relax the feet. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Again, remembering the deep inhales, slow, relaxed exhales. Good, I'm going to lower that left foot down. I'm going to come right into supine twist. So I'm bringing this right foot all the way down to the floor. Right palm comes out and left palm comes out, looking over the right palm. Good, coming back up to center. We're going to lengthen that leg up, do a nice little stretch here. Heel comes up towards the sky. Point the toes, point the heel. Release that foot down to the mat. This time they're bringing the left foot on top of the right knee. Again, lifting that right foot up. Hands come in between the legs and then clasping behind the right thigh. Again, keeping this left foot active and the right foot active. Good. You're going to feel a nice stretch in, right down into the buttocks, which is kind of tender in some places. I'm going to relax those feet now. Let myself drop in and soften into the pose. 5 breaths here. Nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Drop that right foot down. We're going to bring the left foot over towards the ground. Arms come nice and wide, completing that twist by chin looking towards the left palm. Good. My shoulders are still on the ground. So relaxing here. Let yourself drop in, soften into this supine twist. I can hear my dog barking. Good. 5 more breaths. Good. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Bring yourself back up to center. Extend that left heel up towards the sky. Point the heel towards the sky, then the toes. Just a little point and flex here. Release those feet down to the ground. So coming into Shavasana, I'm going to take this little blanket, just put it over my shoulders here. So just taking your time to come in to Shavasana. So if you have a blanket, you can fully cover yourself with a blanket. And now we turn this music off and allow us to settle in to stillness. So if you need anything to make yourself more comfortable, what would that be? I'm not going to turn this light off because you wouldn't be able to see me, but you could turn the lamp off, the light off. Do a few little wiggles here to get more settled. Maybe lift the lower back, resetting the sacrum on the floor. Wiggle the feet. Soften through the forehead, the mouth, the jaw, the throat. Feel your yogi heart being cushioned by your breath. Your belly is soft. Your knees are resting either on your pillow or your bolster. And now bring this awareness all the way down the calf muscles to the soles of your feet. Each little toe, so baby toe, all the way up to the big toe. And now see if you can feel the front body soften and drop into the back body. So Shavasana is such an important part of this practice. It allows us to absorb what we've done on our mat. It allows us to rest and relax. Take a moment to notice if you've got any tension anywhere and tell that part of your body to relax. So I'm going to let you rest here for a couple more minutes. If you're uncomfortable and you want to come up to seated, you can meet me in seated. Just taking time to know what you need to do in this moment. So as you rest here in Shavasana, I'm going to read to you from Journey to the Heart. It's called Don't Worry. These are daily meditations. And this is one of my favorites. It's not actually today's date. This is for June 18th. But you can just pick it up and read whichever one that you wish to read. Worry doesn't help. Our worries haven't prevented one disaster along the way. At times, the only thing they prevented us is our joy. Our worries are fear. We say, I will worry and be fearful until things have worked out. Only then can I relax and enjoy. Our worries are self-punishment, a form of not forgiving ourselves, not loving ourselves, and not trusting. We may think that worrying helps ward off trouble, but that's an illusion. Sometimes worrying brings trouble upon us because we're so caught up in fear, we don't take the responsible steps we need to take. By neglecting our lives due to worry and fear, we bring needless consequences upon ourselves. The lesson is to trust. When we trust, we can get peaceful first. Before we can get what we want, and before what we see in the future. So we can find that peacefulness first. Worry and fear are the opposite of love. Love yourself more now than you ever have. Love yourself now enough to stop worrying. Love yourself enough to give yourself the gift of peace. So knowing that we can give ourselves that gift of peace in this moment, and knowing that we can find what we need to get through the tough times as well, even times like we're going through right now. So take this moment to do a little bit of movement, so wiggling the fingers and the toes, maybe doing a few wrist rolls if you're still laying down, making this movement, and then rolling to your right side. So roll to that right side. You rest your head on your arm. Take a moment to bring in 3 things or maybe one thing that you're grateful for in this moment. Maybe you're grateful that it's the end of the night. You feel more relaxed and rested now from your practice. And you can go to bed and have a nice peaceful sleep. And then slowly roll yourself up to seated. So just bringing yourself up, pressing through your hands. So we always lay on our right side. When we come up, we're leading with our hearts. We're going to bring our hands into Anjali Mudra at our heart center. Noticing how the body feels now. Noticing if you can lengthen through the spine, even though your head is tilting towards your heart. Can you see how you're feeling now in this moment? How your energy and emotions feel now after this practice? Are you aware of more ease? Maybe your breath is coming easier. Do you feel more rested and relaxed? And in your thoughts, do you feel more thankful? Do you feel more gratitude? I'm going to end this practice with one single Om, so at home you may join me. If not, you can just simply listen. I'm going to inhale and exhale. And then the next, I'm going to Om. Bring your hands up to your third eye, the Ajna chakra. I hope that this practice has brought you a little bit of peace. So I was at a retreat where Karuna said, why can't we rest in peace now in our lives where we are alive and not wait until our time is not on this earth anymore to rest in peace? So let's rest in peace while we're here. The divine light in me sees, honors, and cherishes the divine light in each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me for Lullaby In on live Facebook. And I hope you have a wonderful week. With my much thanks from my heart to each of your hearts. Namaste. So namaste to everyone who joined me. I do have a little gift for anyone who shared my last post, and that's going to Pat Gabert. So Pat, thank you so much for sharing my last yoga post. There's the Angelica oil here from Young Living and a little necklace and a little keychain. I hope you guys are all doing well. I've had some ups and downs. I've had feeling like my immune system hasn't been super great. So yesterday I was going to do a class, but I had a really bad headache. So I'm just going to try and do what I can. And I hope that you feel that that's what you need to do in these times as well. If you want to email me any questions, or if there's something you would like to see me do for yoga, send me a message. But you can check out my webpage at georginakailoyoga.com or email me at hello@georgina.com, georginakailoyoga.com. Okay, so I hope you had a wonderful evening. I love hearing from you guys. Send me any messages, what you loved about the practice, what you found challenging. Maybe there's something you want me to help work with. I would love to do that. I'm going to be posting some YouTube videos, so if I'm not doing a live video, I will be posting on Thursday morning a video for yoga, which will be a nice gentle practice. So have a good night. Lots of love to all of you from my Yarn and Yoga room, and I'll see you